money?
We spent it.
You don't have my money?
It's gone. It's gone.
What do you mean it's gone?
I got a.
You don't have my fucking money, dude?
Maserati out on the parking lot. It's gone.
You bought a
Jesus,
fucking car with my
I'll
money.
be doing good works.
You bought a fucking car with... Where's my
Please
money,
don't hit me,
bitch?
Jesus.
Get over here, bitch.
Please, I'll
get
get
over
you
here.
the money, Jesus.
Get
I'll
fucking
you
back
money.
here.
Just give me some time.
You're gonna get my
Just
fucking
give me
money,
some
bitch. I'm gonna
time,
break
Jesus.
your
I'll get you
goddamn
the money.
legs. Give me my fucking
Please
money,
don't
bitch.
hit me, Jesus.
Give me my fucking money, bitch.
Oh, this is kind of cool.
You can put your weed in there.
Oh, check this out.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can put your weed in there.
This is the Stoner Jesus Show on CannabisRadio.com.
It's my Greg here, Poontang, if I can use a medical term.
Man, oh man.
You're gay. There's no facts in the church.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap. Don't try to debate me on something. Motherfucker, I can't do many things well, but words are my shit. Yeah, bitch. Words are indeed my shit. Welcome everybody to Stoner Jesus Show Live, Chapter 3, Verse 21. We're doing it live on March 31st, 2020. This is officially, if you're keeping track at home, and I know you are, Quarantine with Jesus 5. You can check them out on stonerjesus.net, the audio episodes. Of course, the streaming video on demand can be found on Periscope and other places. I'm live streaming right now, hopefully to all of the regular places. It says the stream is good. I'm having problems with Restream. We're supposed to be on Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube live simultaneously via video. Hopefully we are. If not, well, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I can only do so much. Big show tonight. I did interviews with Alice Vaughn, who is Rational Blonde on Twitter. Also Kevin Gootee. Goatee, you can pronounce it Goatee, of course. Gootee is the way it's spelled, Gootee. That's how I remember it in my head, Gootee. So every time I see his name in my head, I say Kevin Gootee. It's Kevin Goatee, but it's spelled Gootee. God damn it. Just go find these people. I've tweeted it out. Give you enough information. Anyway, if you're looking for more content, great content, they have podcasts. Alice does Two Girls, One Mic, which is a porn review, interview show. Go check that out. Check out other stuff as well, including crayons with offensive names. Offensive crayons. Go check that out. Kevin does a lot of shows as well. Comics Watching Comics on Amazon. And he has a podcast called Gutting the Sacred Cow, which someone may make an appearance on in the near future. Someone you know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I'm not going to give away any more than that. Kill that music. We're moving on. Those interviews are coming up in segments 2 and 3. But first, we have a new voicemail from St. Peter. Now, whether I put that first because I think it's the strongest part of the show and I want to lead with it, or I put that first because it's the most horrific part of the show and I want to get out of the way, that's for you to decide. I'm not going to judge which way you call that. One answer is more obvious than the other, but still, in any case. New voicemail from St. Peter. I got all going here on the video. I think if I make it faster, maybe it'll be better. I don't know. I got to keep the track on this little dropped frames thing while hoping that the stream goes okay, and it's too much. Sometimes it's too much. My tragic existence as a video podcast guy. Anyway, last we heard from St. Peter, he's still doing his job, scraping animals off the side of the road. He hasn't been here in a few years. He went off one day and he's stayed gone. Of course, he leaves voicemails. That's what he does. Sometimes he sends long, rambling, disjointed text messages that multiply in number, in the 20s and 30s, if you were to count them all up. In any case, it's better when he leaves voicemails. He could leave video. I mean, it would be more in tune with what the show is now. But he's still with the audio show, and that's where he is in his head, so he sends voicemails, and that's cool. It's fine. It doesn't. I'm not saying that you're clamoring to see St. Peter. You're not. And if you have, you're definitely not. In any case, as I said, last we heard from him, He had decided, as he's wont to do, because he'll ingest many, many different things, to, at the behest of a coworker, to snort the brains out of a bat that they scraped off the side of the road. Now he thinks he has coronavirus. His pee was blue. He was feeling disoriented. Anyway, I believe that voicemail was chapter 3, verse 18. I want to say. I may be wrong about that. I played it again, I think, in verse 20 as well. In any case, I think I've done a pretty admirable job of recapping it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not like you have to go see the movie for the sequel. This movie stands on its own, and by movie, I mean a voicemail from St. Peter. Without further ado, here's the latest coronavirus update from St. Peter.
Hey, Jesus. Jesus, me, Peter. I figured I'd give you an update. What's going on with me? My tragic battle with the coronavirus. Is it the coronavirus or is it just coronavirus? I feel like when I say the coronavirus, I'm saying it wrong. Anyway, Jesus, I got a lot of time on my hands. Not only do I think I have the coronavirus as mentioned in a previous email because of my unfortunate decision to snort liquefied dead bat brains of a bat that I scraped off the side of the road during my duties as the person who scrapes the dead animals off the side of the road. Anyway, Jesus, they said that my scraping animals off the side of the road was non-essential work. So I've been furloughed. I never heard that word before in my life, Jesus. Furloughed. Furloughed. Isn't that kid that was in American History X? Furlough. Anyway, Jesus, I'm just spending a lot of time, like bored and shit, and when I told you that my pee was blue, like very, very, like raspberry Jolly Rancher blue, well now it's kind of faded into a new color piss has. It's fuchsia. Jesus. That's another word that I learned very recently. I just checked on the internet and through colors until one I found that mostly closely resembled the color of my piss, and it's fuchsia. Jesus, look it up. Look it up. I've also, Jesus, another problem that I've been having, and I think it's related to my bat brain snorting induced new voice, and it has a Ugandan accent. Jesus, the voice in my head speaks with a Ugandan accent. I don't even know how it's Ugandan. I have no idea. I mean, I didn't know that I knew what a Ugandan accent is, but for some reason, Jesus, I know that the voice that I'm hearing is speaking to me in English, but in a Ugandan accent. Very bizarre. The disorientation and then and all that's like continued. I feel like this is kind of like a video or a regular audio medical. I've survived a lot over the years, many thousands of years, but now this this coronavirus, Jesus. My last call, my last transmission. Yeah, that sounds better. Last transmission sounds better. We'll go with that one. Forget that I said call. It was stupid. My final transmission, Jesus. That's the point I'm getting at. Anyway, if I don't die or whatnot, I'll voicemail. So until the next coronavirus update, fuck you, Jesus.
So there you go. The latest from St. Peter. A lot. I know. Even for St. Peter, that's a lot to digest. The fuchsia piss. The fact that he thought it was a good idea to snort bat brains at all. Now coronavirus is putting him out of a job. The Ugandan accent thing, I don't even know where to start with that. I see that the live stream on Facebook is doing closed captioning. So if you're deaf, make sure you watch us on Facebook. Twitch doesn't have that. Periscope doesn't have that. We do seem to be streaming on all of our platforms now, but the closed captioning, well, it's available on Facebook. There you go. Anyway, obviously, as more updates become available from St. Peter, we will rush them to you next live broadcast after we receive them. I know you're following a lot of coronavirus news, and what happens to St. Peter is very important to you. almost as much as a family member. Almost just a smidge below. If you're ranking people that are important in your life, obviously it goes family member, smidge below. He appreciates that greatly. As I said, coming up, my interview with Alice Vaughn, Rational Blonde on Twitter. We talked about her podcast, Offensive Crayons. We got going on after that, Kevin Goatee. A lot of shows as well, as I said. Check out Comics, Watching Comics on Amazon. The Gutting the Sacred Cow podcast on whatever podcast platform you find applicable. I, of course, know that maybe sometime in the near future, there may be someone you know as a guest on that previously referenced podcast, Gutting the Sacred Cow. So I keep getting live video interrupted. I don't know. It's just, maybe there's too many people streaming. I think that's the problem. I go back to Restream. It says I'm offline, but I'm not offline because I'm streaming. I can see myself right there. So Restream's having problems. At least at the very bare minimum, I'm recording this show. So I can fucking do something with it. Everybody in their mother's home streaming. You know, fucking Madonna, get off the bandwidth. I got important shit I'm doing here. I was first, okay? I'm sorry you're stuck at home. All the late night hosts are posting YouTube videos and all that shit. I understand. You're stuck at home. This is my shit. I was already here. You're off doing your celebrity stuff and your, you know, your professional broadcast with your 12 cameras and audience members and all that. I was here. Slogging through the muck. In any case, stop taking all the goddamn bandwidth. I'm important too. I know Madonna's fucking doing something crazy with her 8,000 children, but I got a show to do. People clamor for this content. Like that St. Peter. Where are you going to get that? You're going to get a voicemail from someone like St. Peter somewhere else? I doubt it. I very much doubt it. For many, many reasons. Stoner Jesus Show Live, Chapter 3, Verse 21. If you want to email the show, stonerjesus420@gmail.com. There's also a group on Facebook for fans of the show, hardcore fans, Disciples of Stoner Jesus. Search that on Facebook. Of course, stonerjesus.net has our sponsor banners. Of course, our sponsors will keep the show afloat. Please go check them out. stonerjesus.net. You'll be hearing theirs throughout the show. Of course, we're also on CannabisRadio.com. A lot of great shows on CannabisRadio.com. We're on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, and of course, as I said, stonerjesus.net, the Podbean podcasts. Go check that out. All of it is wonderful, and you have a lot of time on your hands now, so don't disappoint Jesus. Very bad of you. Anyway, coming up, Alice Vaughn, Kevin Goatee, interviews. Check that shit out. Peace, bitches.
The Stoner Jesus Show on Cannabis.com.
Hello, my children. Stoner Jesus here to tell you about another sponsor of the Stoner Jesus Show, Build Your Own Tubes. BYOTubes.com. You can follow them at TransformerTube on Twitter. Transformer Tubes are a family of modular components with many options available for you to customize your pipe. Welcome to the world of Build a Bong. That's right, you heard me correctly. Get different pieces to build your own customized, durable pipe. BYOTubes.com. Build your own. Check out all the different categories they have, different accessories, gift cards, and more. BYOTubes.com, a proud sponsor of the Stoner Jesus Show. At Former Tube on Twitter. Go check, follow them, see what you can build. BYOTubes.com. Hello, my children. Stoner Jesus here, and I have a confession to make. I suck at rolling. I can roll in an emergency and it may be adequate, but it's certainly not going to be good, and it's certainly not going to be quick, and there's probably going to be a lot of cussing involved. Luckily, I found the Stoner Jesus Show is a brand new sponsor, Pre-Roll Tray. Check them out at prerolltray.com or click that Pre-Roll Tray banner on stonerjesus.net. It is the only herbal cigarette packing tray on the market. The Pre-Roll Tray is going to allow you, as an experienced connoisseur, to pack your herbs faster, cleaner, and easier than ever before. But even better than that, it will allow you, the most novice, first-time users out there, to enjoy their medicated and recreational herbs in a way that they never could have before. Check out the Pre-Roll Tray banner on stonerjesus.net. Don't be sad. Don't be ashamed about not knowing being good at it. Instead, get the pre-roll tray, and if you are good at it, well, good for you. Still get the pre-roll tray. An awesome new sponsor of the Stoner Jesus Show. Check out the pre-roll tray banner on stonerjesus.net.
Ignite the conversation on some trending topics along the Cannabis Radio social media network. Join our crew of thousands on our Cannabis Radio page on Facebook or at Canna Radio, CANNA Radio on Twitter. Plus, look for our fan Google Plus pages for all of our original programs and connect with Dr. Dina, Dr. Mitch Earlywine, Nurse Heather, Doc Rob, the host of Ganjapreneur, and more. Connect with the Social Crusade at Canna Radio on Twitter or search for Cannabis Radio on Facebook, Google Plus, and Instagram and grow with us.
Learning the benefits of proper nutrition, supplementation, and personal development to live a healthy and abundant life. Awaken, adjust, and aspire. High on Healthy. Mondays on demand. Only on CannabisRadio.com. Now available for pre-order through crowdfunding for just $14 plus $10 shipping. Pouches, premium mixing and rolling pouches, allow you to carry and prepare your herbs for consumption with discretion and ease. These stylish pouches are handcrafted using strong zips, long-wearing buffalo leather outside, and smooth sheepskin inside. A portion of proceeds go to fund vital medical research into cannabis for ADHD. See a demo and get yours now on Indiegogo or Pouches.com. That's POUCHZ.com.
Let me welcome Nick Hexum from 311. We've never heard things like your music when it first came out. It's like to mix the reggae with the punk and all of that together was just such an unusual sound, and we loved it.
We realized we're not going to copy what's on the radio. At the time, it was all grunge that was on the radio, and I said, let's just stick to what we know and wait for culture to come around to us. Hey, it's Nick Hexum from 311, and you're listening to Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina on CannabisRadio.com.
Pierre Savon speaks to patients, advocates, and professionals to keep you informed on all the latest trends and advancements in the medical cannabis industry on Alternative Talk, presented by AlternativeVibes.com. Tuesdays on demand only on CannabisRadio.com. The following CannabisRadio.com program contains explicit language and content that can be considered graphic and offensive. This program is not suitable for all audiences, and the opinions expressed do not reflect those of CannabisRadio.com, its staff, management, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back, everybody. Stoner Jesus Show on the video chat. We have Alice Vaughn, Rational Blonde, on Twitter. Alice, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Stoner Jesus.
It's a very exciting time in a person's life when they get to be on the show.
Oh, yeah. It's exciting for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, absolutely. Every time I get to talk to people, especially in this day and age with the social distancing, any chance to talk to another human being is something to be taken advantage of. Speaking of that, before we get to everything else, obviously, the first question is, how are you? How are the people around you? How has the last few weeks been?
So I actually live in New York City where we have the most cases. Yeah. So New York, we're always going, go big or go home, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I guess the same goes with morgues, although I have to say that dying at the Jacob Javits Center would probably be like the second worst thing that's happened to me.
Hey, yeah, big new hospital ship now, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, a friend just shared it with me. I had no idea, and apparently people were standing there like side to side, not social distancing. Like, I hope they got off the ship and slapped them or yelled at them.
Yeah, everyone come crowd down by the port and look at the hospital ship. That's always a good idea. So you have a few projects, obviously, that you do. One of them is interesting, at least to me and my viewers. My viewers love weed and they love porn. So you having you describe it to people who, the uninitiated, if you will.
So if you've never heard of Two Girls, One Mic, basically what we do is we, maybe not your favorite porn, Jesus, but
I don't know. I like some kinky stuff. I'm well beyond the vanilla stuff at this point.
I've got a list for you then. But not only do we review porn for the plot, but we talk to people within the adult industry and give a lot of behind the scenes information. We get to know the actors as people and bring you guys news and info you wouldn't get elsewhere.
You have any are there any favorite guests and or favorite porns come to mind that really stand out?
My God, I have so many favorite guests. I mean, let's see. From comedians, we've had on like Tom Arnold, who accidentally brought Arnold Schwarzenegger with him, so that was normal. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about who's nailing Palin, and who's that Austrian voice? Oh, the Governator? Cool.
They strike me as some porn lovers.
Man. So as much as I wanted Terminator porn to be good, it wasn't. But what was fantastic, not even kidding when I say watch for the cinematography, The Big Lebowski XXX. But if you want a good laugh, everything from, God, the stuff that the production company Wood Rocket comes out with, from 10-inch Mutant Ninja Turtles to Fap to the Future. I mean, the puns alone. If you watch the first 15 minutes, there's 15 minutes of no sex in Fap to the Future, and it's just puns.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to mention Rocket. I know there Vuko, who's we followed each other on Twitter for such a long time, and I've tried to get her on the show to kind of talk about Woodrow. We just haven't made it happen yet, but they put out a lot of quality stuff, especially for
they really do
the comedic angle, which is a great angle for porn. Do you have any favorite, like a favorite one you review, just something that really stands out, or is just a collection of them? Just so many that's too many to list.
There's a collection kind of at this point. I could give you like a good top 5. I could tell you like which actors that really throw themselves into the acting, like Tommy Pistol and Evan Stone. Evan Stone is more for like the older generation who are like, I know him. Young kids, Gen Z is like, I have no idea who you're speaking of. Tommy Pistol, though, is someone who just does not only great porn work, but just great comedic timing, and he's hysterical. So, I mean, we have so much fun with this because we'll have people from the adult industry who, are like, hey, you guys are treating us as humans, like people are supposed to. And then we'll have comedians on, and they're like, holy shit, I watched a porn for the plot and enjoyed it. We've had a couple terrible ones, though.
Oh, yeah. Anything you want to name or anything you want to...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
We just watched, 2 weeks ago, the Twilight porn parody from, 10 years ago, and it was horrific. I mean, a better love story than Twilight. Literally, me sleeping was a better love story than Twilight. Even the porn was a worse love story than Twilight. Shockingly, Twilight is a better love story than Twilight porn.
Yeah, parodies can definitely go south fairly quickly. So you have to, we're hitting this a lot, that's for sure. Another one of your projects is Offensive Crayons, which I was checking out today, and that's pretty awesome. What can people expect? Is it what people would expect if they would get some Offensive Crayons, or is it what they would not expect? It depends.
There are definitely ones you might expect. So, so any chance you did a Google search on them?
Yeah, I checked some of them. I saw the political one. I saw the taxation as theft, which I would color with, even if I didn't need that color. I would. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, the political pack. I like to take a hit at everyone. Left, right, centrist, non-political. With the original pack. Yes.
So people say, you can't mock this group or that group, or you can't joke about this. It's just once you start down that lane, that it can cover anything you want. So just everyone deserves a little mockery. So just sit back and take it, even if it's on crayons.
Exactly. And the way I see it is people say, well, you can't joke about X or Y or Z. Well, if you can't joke about something, you can't talk about something.
Yeah.
And frankly, that's an issue, you know? And people, I feel like, who are not comedians or satirists or writers, they don't seem to understand that. They'll say things like, well, you know, you're punching down. But I mean, what if you make a rape joke and someone laughs at it? You're not laughing at the rape victim, you're laughing at the concept of, hey, this is fucking horrific.
Right.
So when I have a crayon that's, for example, called that's a purple blue crayon that's called I should have known better than to speak to him like that when he's drinking.
Wow,
you know,
that's a lot to fit on a crayon.
Oh, and I fit it. Or your parents' divorce was your fault, Peach. I mean, look, we gotta laugh about this stuff. And also, you wouldn't expect that on a crayon about to me talking about domestic abuse. No one does. No one plans to like, oh, let me pull this purple one out. Oh, statutory grape. White privilege, of course.
Yes, obviously.
Although, I'm convinced that in the next Offensive Crayons pack, so I have a couple coming out, eventually a porn pack, an offensive-ish pack for all the Karens in the world. But I want to eventually make a crayon that's going to be, and I had this idea the other week, it's going to be a white crayon with a black label called Blackface.
What's
by the way, I apologize for being horrible.
Oh no, that's fine. Look, if you're gonna have offensive crayons, they might as well be offensive. You better go big or go home. Because you have a bland offensive crayon and it's labeled offensive crayon. That's not gonna impress anybody.
Exactly.
It just says like you suck or you're bad at math or something like that. It's not gonna have the impact that it should.
Well, actually, I'm just selling those to the Asian market. You're bad at math.
There you go. What have you been getting pretty good feedback? Has there been pretty good demand? Has the demand gone up with the coronavirus? Are people doing more coloring? What's going on with the business?
So shockingly, I went from software sales to doing crayons. That was a fun transition. It's like, oh, hey, I'm going to leave this reputable job to run a crayon empire. And I did. Sales have been good. You know, what's interesting is I have people who hate me on all sides and love me on all sides. I have people who are liberals and Republicans, both of which, like, everyone from like the extreme SJWs to like extreme, like, all I don't want to associate with you, being both loving and hating me, which means I think I'm doing something right, because that means that I'm not appealing to any one specific group.
Absolutely. That means people are paying attention. I don't get as many death threats as I used to on Twitter, and frankly, on some level, it's kind of disappointing that people don't care as much.
Aww.
I still remember.
I'll send you a death threat.
So many years ago, like this 15. I went and looked at her profile. She's a 15-year-old girl, and she told me to go choke on a dick, and she spelled choke wrong. She spelled it chalk, and I'll never forget that day. all the levels, the death threat, the commentary on our public education system. All that. It was definitely a big day, at least in my life. See, it's funny the things you remember from your interactions with people. Obviously, I mentioned before, we love weed. The fans of this show love weed. Obviously, I've built my entire gimmick here around it. What is your relationship with weed? Is it something you partake in? Is it something you tried and didn't want to go back to? Something you've never tried? What's the deal with you and Mary Jane?
I'm going to be a disappointment. So here's the thing. So my co-host loves weed. Actually, her husband is like the equivalent of a Heisenberg at a lab, which apparently in these trying times in California is considered a necessity. So the government hasn't shut them down.
If you're not going to smoke now, I don't know when you're going to.
So as a true New Yorker, I partake in alcohol. She partakes in pot. I've tried it. You know, it just wasn't for me. Maybe I didn't do it right. I'm willing to try again.
Hey, you're not going to die. So if you want to take another whack at it, it's fine. But yeah, it's definitely something that's not for everyone.
I'm also such a good girl. So I'm like, I don't even know how to have a dealer.
You have to know someone. You get you something good. Because you get horrible, just horrible stuff. And you're basically just smoking grass that somebody pulled out of a yard, and that's not going to help you any.
Exactly. So number one, I don't trust people. Number two, that requires social interaction. I don't want to keep talking to people.
That's right.
No.
Hey, whatever.
We're
whatever gets
already
you-
distancing ourselves.
Yeah.
I've been
If
doing
alcohol
that
works.
pre-coronavirus.
That's right. Yes, definitely. The social distancing is something that I enjoy. I don't want to be told to do it. I want to do it by choice, but still, having other people being told to do it has been kind of helpful. I won't lie. So, what are your plans for the future when all this stuff passes by and when everybody gets back to whatever normal is going to be? Do you have any plans, projects, anything people should be looking for?
Yeah, man. I have more crayon lines coming out. I have more episodes of the TGOM podcast coming out. We have a lot. We have colored pencils. The thing is, though, a lot of stuff has just been put on hold because as much as people demand stuff, everybody is obviously focused on a pandemic. So timing isn't great for me to launch all these new projects like in the next 2 weeks. But definitely in the next like month, 2 months, 3 months, you'll be seeing a ton of new stuff from my end. And if you don't already have offensivecrayons.com, Friends of Crayons, head on over to offensivecrayons.com. If you need a gift, they're hysterical for friends. And frankly, if you're just looking for something to listen to, I mean, what's better than, two women bringing comedians and porn stars on to talk?
Absolutely. And
it's not ASMR, but it could be.
I just learned about that the other day too. It's just all kinds of stuff on the internet now. It's crazy. I thought I knew a lot, but I'm becoming one of those old timers. It's horrible.
Let us hold your hand and teach you.
I was on TikTok for a week, but I got banned for doing bong rips, so that didn't work out.
Really?
Yeah, they did not like that at all. It was almost immediate. They said, the video's been taken down, and about an hour later, you are banned. Do not come back. Don't try to sign in. Just go away.
Aw.
So that was my week-long TikTok experiment.
It's amazing. Did you hear about TikTok when it comes to their user base promoting videos of only attractive people and suppressing content from people who are what they not consider to them attractive enough, or LGBT, or what's it called, or on the larger side, or disabled? Did you hear that?
I saw a video. I think I didn't watch it, but it was from Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura and his wife. They were talking about ugly TikTok, and I guess that's like a genre now that's being suppressed. I've also heard that TikTok is Chinese spyware, which wouldn't surprise me. I don't even bother anymore. People say turn the location off on your phone. I say I'm not going to bother. They're going to find me. If they want to find me, they'll find my phone. They'll turn the location on. What's to stop them from doing that? What's to stop them from turning on my camera? They can do all that stuff. So
I mean, who knows? The Chinese might send you those death threats you're hoping for.
Yes. Well, write them in English because I don't speak Chinese.
Your Chinese is their English is excellent over there, but I mean, who was shocked to find that out? I mean, this is a country that, for their Olympics, they were like, "Oh, this little girl, she has the voice of an angel, but have you seen her teeth? Get the new little girl out. She's gonna lip sync."
Yeah, I can't imagine. Even without all the virus origination that happens over there, just all the other stuff. I saw one woman talking about how they she was in Beijing and she left her apartment and she got like a phone call or something. They told her, "You're leaving your apartment too much. We know how much you're leaving your apartment. Stop doing that. We're in a pandemic." I thought, well, things could be worse, I guess.
That I heard they were doing something similar in one of the Middle Eastern countries. I can't name which one because I don't remember. But I mean, that's not a crazy thing to do, if someone is constantly going out. I mean, I walk my dog for a little bit and then I'll come back right away in and wash my hands.
Oh.
But I saw people where I was walking and they were playing ping pong in the park. No, their phones should be fucking buzzing.
Get back in your house.
Get inside.
Enough of the ping pong.
Those people waving at the boat? No, too close. Starts going off. Like, those really annoying emergency Amber Alerts you get?
Mm-hmm.
That.
Oh, yeah. You hear people buzzing as they walk by. Say, "You've been out too long. Your phone's going off. Get your ass in the house."
too fucking far.
That's right.
You're close to too many people. Look, if you're not sure how far 6 feet away is from someone else, just imagine a dead corona virus patient between the two of you. It's that simple.
A relatively tall one. Yes. I'm 6'4", so cut 4 inches off me, you got your space. If I were to fall over dead. Alice, before we let you go, where can people find you online if they've enjoyed this and want to see what you're up to?
Guys, you could get Offensive Crayons as well as all the other crazy products we have over at offensivecrayons.com. If you want to check out my show, because you have plenty of time and you watch porn, so just learn about it. Go to twogirlsonemic.com or tgompodcast.com. Either way, you'll get a prompt to open it in whatever podcast listening app, where everywhere, Pandora, Spotify, iTunes. So Two Girls, One Mic, the Porncast. We are the ones with the white background and a microphone with a pink bra hanging off it. I say this because when I started, it was just us. And now there's like 7 different Two Girls, One Mic podcasts. And you have to spell out Two Girls, One Mic, like the words Two Girls, One Mic.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was looking on Stitcher. It was a lot, but I found it.
I swear, they all came up after we started the show. I'm not joking. You could check the dates.
Absolutely. Go check it out. Rational Blonde on Twitter. Okay. Alice, thank you for being on the show. And obviously, stay inside, stay safe, all that stuff.
You too, Stoner Jesus.
Thanks, Alice.
The Stoner Jesus Show on CannabisRadio.com.
The Stoner Jesus Show is brought to you in part by Hemptations.com and PlanetEverywhere.com. They got a lot of awesome stuff for you to check out. But don't just take my word for it. Let Beach, the owner of Hemptations, tell you all about it.
It's a very large selection of hemp goods, everything from reusable coffee filters to frisbees, bandanas, everything Planet Everywhere on the site is made in Cincinnati, Ohio, made locally. We also have other retail products from our cosmetics, Earthly Body product, bags on the retail site. Again, anybody local in Cincinnati can go to Hemptations.com and get the info on the stores. Planet Everywhere is our .com is our retail site. You can hit me up on Hemptation Beach or like my Facebook page, Hemptations or Hemptations 2. I'm on Twitter, Google, I'm on the internet everywhere, just like everyone. We love to hear from people all over the world, positive things about industrial hemp. That's what I do. That's what we do. Largest selection of industrial hemp on the planet in the stores. And I'd like to grow that inventory to be able to say that I haven't actually checked out all the other hemp retail spots to see if we have the largest amount on our Planet Everywhere. But it's a fair selection.
And as Beach always says,
having Hemptations.
Hello, my children. Stoner Jesus here to tell you about another Stoner Jesus Show sponsor, Molino Glass. Check out their banner on stonerjesus.net. Molino has been making glass since 2003. Their goal is total customer satisfaction. Their team is always there and ready to help if you have any questions or issues. Don't matter if you're looking for bongs, art glass, dab rigs, rolling papers, grinders, cleaners, CBD, vapes, and more. Check them out, molinoglass.com, or check out the Molino Glass banner, stonerjesus.net. Also, use the code StonerJesus420 to get 10% off your order. That's code StonerJesus420. You get 10% off your order at Molino Glass. Just check that banner out, stonerjesus.net. Click it, check out the glass and more, and enjoy the awesomeness of another Stoner Jesus Show sponsor, Molino Glass. Check out their banner, stonerjesus.net. Make sure you use that code StonerJesus420 to get your 10% off.
Oh, let the marijuana llama tell you something now about a game for your phone gonna make you say, wow! The game's about the game of growing cannabis for cash. Grow the seeds, sell the bud, put the savings in the stash. Little by little, your empire grows large. Put the big celebrities inside your entourage. You can choose to play with Snoop or me or Cheech and Chong, Cypress Hill, Willie Nelson, Wiz Khalifa with a bong. The name of the game is Hemp Inc., that's the point. Download and play while you light yourself a joint. The business of cannabis should be no crime. Hemp Inc. is even hot-proofed by the man who run High Times. Oh yeah? Get it on Android and iOS today. Marijuana llama out. Got to tend to me own crops, you know. Money don't make itself. Hemp Inc.
The smoke is rising, and the next crop of podcasts devoted to cannabis providers and enthusiasts are ready to be harvested. Welcome to the Cannabis Radio Network, founded by respected rainmakers who have been producing award-winning podcasts for over a decade. Industry headlines, business updates, medical reports, marketing, and e-commerce education rolled up perfectly for your consumption. Let's grow together. The Cannabis Radio Network. CannabisRadio.com.
Tommy Chong is ready to cut through the smoke and change the tone of Tilk Radio.
You're going to be a great-granddad. Pretty cool. Morgan is Ray Dawn's son. Morgan and his wife Tracy, they've been trying to have a baby for quite some time. Did you hear what I said to Morgan? What? Do you know who the father is?
The Tommy Chong Podcast, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Welcome to my world.
Get informed, get inspired, and get connected on NCIA's Cannabis Industry Voice. Mondays on demand, only on CannabisRadio.com. The following CannabisRadio.com program contains explicit language and content that can be considered graphic and offensive. This program is not suitable for all audiences, and the opinions expressed do not reflect those of CannabisRadio.com, its staff, management, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back, everybody. Stoner Jesus Show on the old video chat. We have Kevin Goatee, comic, has many shows we'll, of course, talk about. Welcome, Kevin, to the show.
Thank you, sir. How are you this fine evening?
Doing pretty good. Hanging in there. Obvious question is, how are you? How are the people around you? How have the last few weeks been for you?
It's been, I mean, look, it's not been as I don't have any crazy stories. I work from, my wife and I have been on home, working from home for the last 2 weeks, and our daughter is here. So that's been a bit of a trial tribulation. So, but it's manageable, whatever. I get out, I go running whenever the weather is not shitty. So, I mean, I'm making the most of it. So it's not that bad. How about yourself? What are you doing with yourself?
Pretty much the same. Getting out when I have to, get supplies from my elderly parents, because obviously we've got them isolated and keeping them away from people just in case. But I live in Kentucky, and so far we've been barely hit by it, which, you know, knock on wood or whatever it is people do. But it's been fairly good, and I spend most of my time working from home anyway, so I'm just doing the same thing, just more often, basically. But
where in Kentucky are you?
Extreme northern Kentucky, right across the river from Cincinnati. Yeah.
Oh wow, really? My company is based out of Mason, so we go to Cincinnati a lot. So we're right there over that what do they call it? The river over the Rhine or whatever the hell that's called. I forgot.
Yeah, over the Rhine. Yeah, we've
yeah, over the Rhine. Yeah, because that's the Witt River in Germany. So yeah, no, that's crazy. My parents are from southern Indiana. I was born in Indianapolis. We had the good common sense to get the fuck out when I was 3 and moved to civilization. At least, you know, Jersey, if you want to call that civilization, but whatever.
Yeah, I've been here all my life. It's got a lot of drawbacks. The weather is definitely a drawback, but so far we've, at least in our little bubble, we've been kind of protected from this coronavirus thing. I know our governor today told everybody not to leave the state unless they absolutely had to. So
that's a lot better than everyone telling us here in North Jersey. And FYI, I am 5 minutes outside of Manhattan. I work in Manhattan. My wife works in Manhattan, so we are right there. And our area has been northern Jersey's been pretty hit hard with the coronavirus stuff. So, but yeah, man, they're telling us not to leave the house, only for the bare essentials, groceries. You know, even liquor stores, thank God, are still open. But it's amazing how you have a little bit less restrictions on it than we do. We're just waiting for that call. And guess what, guys? Complete lockdown. Can't leave your house, and it's now martial law time. So hopefully that doesn't come to that.
Yeah, you didn't join the big crowds that went down to the port today to see the hospital ship, did you?
No, I could care less. I'll just take my word from seeing it on the news. I'm glad to
Yep.
see it. Good job, hospital ship, but I don't need to see I don't need to see that in person.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people thought a crowd of people to greet it would be the best thing to do at this point in time.
Yeah, right. What are they gonna yell? Bon voyage when it all leaves? No thanks. See a ship leaving or coming, unless you're sick and want to get on that ship and get treated.
Absolutely. So obviously, as I say, you do a lot of different projects. People are familiar with Amazon and Amazon Video. They may have seen comics, watching comics. If people haven't seen that show, what can they expect?
If all my shows I've created, I like to take shows, ideas that are established themes, but have a different twist on them and make them different. What Watching Comics is, it's a combination of Last Comic Standing and Mystery Science Theater 3000. So what we did was we taped a bunch of intermediate, newish comics doing their set. Then we take the footage home to my house, and I have a panel of more established, more successful comics watch it with me, critique, praise, offer advice, and if they're awful, then really rip them a new asshole. But and then we pick a winner at the end of every season. The winner performs at a showcase. But the show it's that's some of it. But what I'm doing with this show is kind of really pulling the curtain back and showing the general public what it's like, what comics see with other comics, and just showing you what goes on in the back of the room when another comic's on stage. The dialogue you're hearing with other comics we have with each other, that's what I'm showing you. Like I said, I'm just kind of, like I said, pulling the curtain back and showing you what goes on, how we think of things, and busting balls. Busting balls is number one with comics. So all it is a ball busting competition and just cracking each other up, and that's what I'm showing you folks. So if you like Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Last, this would be right up your alley.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never, obviously for people like me, stand up is something that I would love to do, but my anxiety is too much. I just can't imagine doing that. So I've kind of created my own world here with the podcasting and all that stuff, and hopefully bringing entertainment to people. But yeah, I've talked to a lot of stand-up comics. I know it's a tough business, especially these days. There seems to be a lot more than there were, back in the day. Maybe it's because of the extra exposure, but it just seems to the layman that there are a lot more people doing it nowadays.
You're 100% right. It's a huge explosion. Although now, what I think is going to happen with the coronavirus at hand, it's going to whittle a lot of people away. And again, a lot of clubs are not going to survive this. I mean, how many clubs in a very fast count in New York, Manhattan alone? It's probably like with Stand Up Gotham, The Stand, Broadway, Greenwich, 5, 6, Strip, 7, Dangerfield, 7. About 8 clubs in the city. I bet you probably half of them shut down and they can't afford it if this goes on for much longer.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've said on previous shows here the last couple of weeks, a lot of comics, a lot of late night hosts, a lot of TV people were basically been reduced to what I do. And actually, some of my graphics are better now than the late night television shows. So that's something. At least
nice. Yeah, I do a podcast too, and thank God, because that way it's also another way to reach the people without having to be out in the throng of people at risk of getting infected. So, and you have a hell of an audience, man. You have like over 130 some thousand Twitter followers. You're not doing too bad yourself. That's
weird.
Sure.
People, it's weird. What people find entertaining, but I'm thankful for it. I've been able to, like I said, to create something that I wouldn't have obviously without the technology. I remember in 2001 trying to be a podcaster before I even knew what that was, and trying to get audio on the internet over a dial-up modem, and it was just horrible. But now
like a podcast. How about trying getting porn over the internet with a dial-up modem?
Hey, I'm old enough to remember Cosmo being porn. Oh, what's that?
I said, how long have you been doing your podcast?
Off and on since 06. 09 was we started doing like Blog Talk Radio and live stuff. And then 2011, I got tired of all that and just started stonerjesus.net and started doing podcasts there. And we've been doing them ever since. We started the video shows, I guess, about 2.5 years ago now. Out of necessity. I never imagined myself sitting here in front of a microphone and talking to people. I like the audio theater of the mind aspect of radio and podcasting, but here we are. We have to go with the times, and this is where the viewers and the listeners are. So here I am. I go where the people are, as they say.
Yeah, man. That's the smartest thing you can do, is make it easy for everybody to watch you. So
absolutely.
Good stuff.
Try to get as many. I always had the theory that I'll just drive everybody to my website, and obviously I found out early on that that's not going to work. You got to go to as many platforms as possible, because the people they would listen to all the crap on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. So you got to be where they are. So you live and you learn, and you keep plugging ahead.
True.
And now with everybody being inside, I do more shows and have a more captive audience, if you will.
Yeah. hear you.
Obviously, this show's my whole thing is weed and revolved around weed and all that stuff. So obviously, we ask everybody what their relationship is with Mary Jane. Are you a weed person? Is it something you tried and went away from? Is it something you never tried? What's going on with you?
I don't do it. Really, I don't do it, period. I did it in college. I did it a few times. It didn't do anything for me. It just didn't grab me. I know, and again, I graduated back in 1999, so I'll just give you a little idea how old I am. It didn't do anything for me. My two vices are this right here and gambling. Those are my two vices. So I feel I'm a naturally high energy kind of guy. If you haven't figured that out already, shame on you. But I don't know if that would just dull one of my strengths, if you want to call it that, in quickness, but I haven't gotten back into it. I have once, I guess, I don't know, 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, I was having really hard time falling asleep or even staying asleep. More importantly, staying asleep. So I got some of those CBD gummies off the internet. They didn't really do shit. Here and there they might have. I don't know. Yeah. But, I mean, that's the closest I've come to really doing it since college. So not really into the weed scene.
The CBD stuff is really hit or miss, especially depending on where you get it from, different tolerances and stuff. Same thing with weed. Weed is, I've often said, is not something that's for everybody. Obviously, I've seen people that have really just not great reactions and don't act well and really can't function on it. But other people like me, hopefully, function quite well. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but I seem to be doing pretty good.
Hey, what are you doing today, and how much of it are you doing?
I've for a long time, I've pretty much been an all day, every day smoker. That was more medical than anything. When I started smoking, I was recreational because I was bored and I wanted something to do. But over time, I found that I have pretty severe digestive stomach issues, and it does great for that, great than any other pill I've ever found or anything. So pretty much if I want to eat, it's something that I have to do. But I feel grateful at this point. It used to be something I would think, oh, I hate having to do this, and I hate this. I can only eat if I do this or whatever. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm grateful that if there is something that exists that allows me to eat, because there's a lot of people that they don't have that, and they just got to go through whatever they're going through. So I'm grateful that it exists, and that's why I spend so much time advocating for legalization and at least allowing people the choice to, it's not a big deal if someone wants to settle their stomach or go to sleep or reduce some anxiety or just get high. They're not hurting anybody. Just leave them alone. We're learning now, as you look around, there's more important things to be worried about than, somebody lighting up a doobie in their house.
Yeah. I don't get the professional sports busting the balls of players if they want to smoke a joint after. If anything, that's not a performance enhancing drug. Everyone's getting, they're so banged up, especially NFL players. All they're going to do is kick back and get that pain out of there, and the weed is one hell of a way of doing it. I just don't understand why they still make a big stink about it. I mean, cocaine, steroids, obviously, speed, yeah, of course, those are definitely going to make you, more aware and enhance your ability. But weed, if you can succeed on weed, man, fuck, you should get double the accolades for doing that.
Well, I should. So thank you. At least I'm hoping.
How many times have people told you look like Shuli Agar from the Howard Stern show?
None. Absolutely.
No
Actually,
shit.
No. Back in the day, I used to get Everlast. Back in the 90s, some people said Everlast. And if I take my hat off and stuff, I look kind of like Brian Posehn, but it's really the extent of
You're a lot thinner than he is.
Yeah. Well, I've also lost about 40 pounds in the last year or so. So.
I guess that's from the stomach issues and shit, I suspect.
Yeah, it comes and goes. Depends on the stress level and stuff like that. It's sometimes are definitely better than others, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm telling you, do a side by side of you and Shuli. I mean, even the fucking glasses you're wearing right now are. He did a bunch of comics season 8, and yeah, he's funny. Of course, if you're a Stern guy, you know what he's up to. But yeah, you two are dead fucking ringers for each other, man. Take do a side by side when you put this with the episode.
Yeah,
I'll give you credit for pulling
that
out.
Yeah, I was a Stern fan for a long time. Really haven't been since Artie left, but yeah, those 10 years with their last years on terrestrial and their switch over to Sirius and all that. Yeah, I was pretty much a die-hard listen 3 or 4 hours a day type of guy with Stern.
Yeah.
Speaking of your other shows, other projects and stuff, you have a podcast called Gutting the Sacred Cow, movie reviews, stuff like that. What can you tell us about that show?
I'd love to tell you about it. Again, this is back to my original statement of I take ideas that are established and people love and do a hell of a unique twist. So it's more than a movie review show in the sense that we invite other comics and other panelists, hosts come on, and they pick the guest is going to pick a film that they absolutely fucking hate or find insanely overrated. But here's the twist. They have to, the film that they choose has to meet one of 3 criteria. 1, financial success. 2, widely beloved. 3, critically acclaimed. And then they have to come in to us, my co-host Kevin Israel and I, and pitch us and have us see their ways of their argument, saying, hey, this is why this film sucks. You know, you have the balls to come in and try and say, hey, Star Wars A New Hope sucks. Like, you better be loaded for fucking bear, because that's one of my favorite films. People have come in and done Pulp Fiction, which is my second favorite film of all time. Rocky 1. John Fugelsang from Sirius. He did Gone with the Wind. Never saw it before, but that was obviously my first time seeing that. And then Joanne Noshczynski did recently Grease. And our last episode I just put up today was Karen Margolis did Titanic. So we have people who pick these films that some have been around for a long time and made billions of dollars and said they've sucked. Or they picked other, maybe even recent films. Mark Riccadonna did The Hangover and said why it sucks. So again, the goal is to convince us to see your ways in your argument and saying if one of these and gutting this sacred cow, and again, getting us to see their ways. Sometimes it's a no look layup. Like after I saw Gone with the Wind, I go, this is a piece of shit and boring as all hell. You know, not a problem. John Fugelsang took that to the hoop and then some. Or Grease. Oh, that was awful. Never saw it before until about a month ago. That was fucking terrible. But some other films Bill Schultz from The Morning Show on the Compound Media, Anthony Cumia's network. He did Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. Again, impossible task. I love Indy 3. It's great. So again, if you're a film nerd, or even a fan of this spirited debate, it's a tried and true idea of movie discussion, but having people come in and having the balls to rip some of these films that we've all loved and treasured and made a cajillion dollars. So that's the show that you can hear on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher. I think I missed one. Who gives a shit? Google. That's the other one we're on too. And we're only like 22 episodes in, so we've got a long way to go and a lot more listenership to capture that you've already done. So we're a fledgling podcast, just started.
Yeah, I was listening the other day to the Big Lebowski one. Obviously, a movie that's near and dear to the hearts of a lot of people in the stoner community. If I did a list of stoner movies, it wouldn't be my top one. Also, I have a problem with the differentiation between a stoner movie where the whole plot or the theme is based on cannabis, like Half Baked, and where, like the Big Lebowski, the plot is something different, but the main characters smoke weed or whatever. Obviously, if weed-centric movies, I think that like movies like Harold and Kumar are better. We did Pineapple Express the other night. We did the whole movie with commentary and everything, which we've done a couple times. And on rewatching it, I still liked the movie, but I realized that it was probably about 20 minutes. The last scene in Pineapple Express where they're sitting there and they're talking and they're making jokes and they're recapping everything. That was just, it went on way longer than I remembered it previously going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stoner Jesus, you lasted way longer than I did, because I gave that thing about half hour 45 and I shut that right the fuck off. I hated that film. Absolutely despised it. Not a fan whatsoever. I think if I had to, and I'm not a stoner guy, so maybe consider my opinion what it's worth. I probably would pick, if I had to pick really, I guess, 2 that share the mantle, would be a Half Baked is an obvious one. And I think you got to throw up there Dazed and Confused. That's another huge stoner film.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously it's cliche, but the original Cheech and Chong trilogy.
Oh, Up in Smoke and all that. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
I saw the Rolling Stone list that they did last year or whatever, when it was last summer. And they didn't, well, obviously they didn't have Half Baked, which I thought was a mistake, but they also, instead of Up in Smoke, they had Cheech and Chong's next movie in that list, which I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen either one. I do know that Paul Reubens was in the second one, and his character was definitely a great addition, but I don't know if you can put that above Up in Smoke. Obviously, it's a debate that stoners have a lot because they're high and they have a lot of time on their hands sometimes, so they talk a lot about movies and stuff like that. But it's definitely an interesting discussion. It's definitely an interesting podcast that you got going on, and a good idea, like you said. It's because especially nowadays with everybody having their own podcast, and everybody's mother has a podcast, and it's just there's so much, and it's so hard to really get out there and grab people's attention. So it's definitely
it is, and in fact, I'd love to probably pick your brain about this off the air when you have a few seconds. But yeah, no, again, it's just trying to find, because most of these podcasts you listen to, it's either 4 guys or 4 girls, and there's no fucking agenda. They sit there, they grab a few drinks or they light up whatever, and they just talk, and they think that is going to bring people to their table, and it's not. You got to have valuable content. You got to have a hook. If you don't, maybe I'm just a smug smartass in that regard, but you're not going to keep me around, that's for sure. You got to have something original and a hell of a hook, or super insanely funny people, which not, you know, some of the podcasts you may hear, or you may whatever, just not going to cut it.
Yeah, and with the amount of noise now that's on the internet and everything got to compete with, because just back in the day we were competing with, you know, like just porn and some cat videos, and that was about it. But nowadays it's just everything is on the internet, and it's
porn, it's cat videos, and now it's, you know, 750,000 loudmouths.
Yeah,
you know, the podcast. So I hear
weird TikTok videos.
Do you do TikTok? I was actually debating about doing that for my podcast. Do you do that?
I was actually just talking about this in the last interview I did with Alice Vaughn. I was on it for a week, and I did some videos, but then a bong ripping video, they did not like that at all. I guess it really violates community standards. So they took that video down. Then an hour later, they just told me just to go away. You can't sign into your account anymore. So that was my week-long experiment.
How did you do view-wise with that bong rip video?
Some of them were better than others. There's TikTok's weird. It has like a front page that if you tag for the front page, sometimes they'll pop it up there. So I post one video, we get 500 views, and I would post another video and we get 12 views. You would post them on Twitter, and sometimes there'd be a preview, but sometimes there would just be a link, and it was weird stuff. So
Right.
I don't miss it, but I guess some of the editing stuff was pretty cool and pretty easy, but I don't think that's my target audience apparently.
Yeah,
At least TikTok doesn't think so.
Not really mine either. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing a boat, because I mean, I'm a C- at best with social media, so I'm just trying to figure my way around and navigate. I mean, I can be funny on fucking Facebook and Twitter, but can I get people to subscribe and like and retweet and all that shit? That's the challenge I'm having now.
Yeah, and Twitter, I've been on Twitter for a long time. It's become a weird place, that's for sure. It's not what it used to be at all. It used to be
They
more
are
fun.
censoring
I mean,
the hell
it
out of a
was-
lot of people. A lot
Yeah.
of people are getting censored.
Yeah, it used to be fun, a fun place to be, and now it's either censorship or people with, you know, their various political opinions. You know, even with this coronavirus stuff, every other tweet that I see is either it's no big deal, it's not a big deal, the media's blowing it overblown or whatever, and then the next tweet is we're all going to die, it's going to kill 5 million people, and I have to get off there. I can't do it. I gotta do something else.
There's no happy.
It's
no happy medium.
Speaking of the coronavirus stuff, do you have any plans when all this is said and done? Projects, anything else you want to do? Just going outside more, or whatever. Do you have formulate any plans for what happens after all this?
Yeah, more vacation stuff. I was supposed to go to a work meeting we were supposed to have in Orlando a couple weeks ago. That got 86th, and I was going to go from Orlando to Tampa for spring training for the Yankees. I'm a big Yankees fan, and that got shelved. Then I was supposed to go to Pee Wee Herman. Speaking of Paul Rubens, you just brought him up 5 minutes ago, is doing a whole tour around the country where he's taking Pee Wee's Big Adventure and playing it, and then doing Q&A, and my buddy and I were fucking psyched to go see that. And that was supposed to be this past Thursday at the Beacon Theater in the city, and that also got pushed back. So yeah, I'm supposed to go to. I booked a Vegas trip for August because it is insanely cheap to book. You know, a hotel, especially the place we stayed, the Cosmopolitan's great, but it's now dirt cheap. We're paying like $600 a person, for 4 nights at that place, which is that's a pretty high-endish hotel, and it's a steal. So I'm hoping the fucking virus doesn't take that over. I'm also hoping the virus doesn't screw up sports. I'm a baseball fan, as I mentioned. I don't want to. I know the season's already obviously delayed, but I don't want it delayed any farther. So, or even hopefully it happens. So, yeah, you're right. Just get out, travel. I'm supposed to go to New Orleans for work in July. I kind of want to see that and check that out. I'm supposed to see Guns N' Roses in July. Hopefully that doesn't get postponed either.
Oh, that's awesome.
So just a bunch of that shit. And I have another TV show I'm going to get ready to try and film, like maybe a pilot for a sizzle and see what shakes out. So that's what I have going on. How about yourself? What do you have lined up?
More of the same, obviously, and just hanging in. It's a weird one day at a time type of thing where, any plans you can make, just, you could be making up for no reason. And I don't know, I try my best to focus on the one day at a time. Because like I said, my life before this was pretty much a lot of writing and podcasting and video shows and stuff like that, especially on the cannabis side of things. Just hoping we all get through this and that we get through it healthy and that the economy is not totally destroyed when all is said and done, and we have something to rebuild. Not to be like a downer, but I guess it's kind of positive.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that people are going to make this like it's almost like the whole country's going to turn 21 in the sense that we're so cooped up. The minute like everything starts to seem okay, people are just going to go out and fucking rage for days on end, just out every night, doing everything just as going to the movies. So something as minuscule as that will be a big event, but people are going to be going crazy, just blowing it out, doing crazy benders just because they've been cooped up for so goddamn long. They need to, stretch out and bust away that cabin fever.
Yeah, a lot of stuff we take for granted. Before we let you go, Kevin, where can people find you online and all that stuff? They want to follow you on social media and whatnot.
Sure, thank you. It's Kevin Gootee, GOOTEE.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Comics Watching Comics on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, comicswatchingcomics.com. Gutting the Sacred Cow, the movie podcast I'm really focusing on now. That, of course, like I said, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, all that good stuff. Gutting the Sacred Cow, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And if you like the podcast, if you're a movie fan, tell a friend and then share it. Subscribe. Do that, pretty please. And that's pretty much it, really.
Awesome. Kevin Gootee on Twitter. Thank you for being on the show. And
thank you.
Have a good night. Enjoying your drink.
You as well, sir. Take care. Awesome. Cool.
Amen.